Hello everybody and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering Arena video. Today I wanted to play a deck that is going to get me into the top 1200 of Mythic. That was my overall goal because I've just hit Mythic, playing around with a couple of different decks, but once I get to this point I want to try and grind up, get my rank up in so we can play against some hard players, see what they're playing, and actually try and make some more competitive decks, because the problem with messing about in lower mythic ranks is people are experimenting a lot, and whilst that is fun, it doesn't necessarily allow me to make the best content that's going to work against the most competitive decks. So we want to get our rank up a little bit. So what we're playing today is a Shredding Spells deck. So this doesn't really feature much new, but it is very, very powerful. So let me just run through the engines of the deck. We basically have three creatures in this deck. We have Ledger Shredder, hence why it's Shredding Spells. This is a 2-costing 1/3 flyer. Whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, Ledger Shredder connives. Now, connives lets us draw a card, then discard a card. If we discard a non-land, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So we have quite a lot of cheap spells. We've got 10 1-drops, we've got 10 2-drops if you exclude the creatures, and then a couple of 3-drops. So our average mana value in this deck is 2.3. So we're often going to be able to double spell ourselves, not to mention that this is whenever any player does it, so if the opponent double spells, the Ledger Shredder can grow as well. The nice synergy that we have is that we're going to fill up our graveyard with instants and sorceries, because we have 24 instants and sorceries in this deck, and our Haughty Djinn, which is our second creature, which is a 3-drop. His power and toughness is equal to the number of instants and sorceries in your graveyard. It has flying. Instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less. So what I've tried to do is load the deck with instants and sorceries that all have sort of generic mana in their cost. So the 1-drops can't do, but everything else, nothing is gonna not get the benefit of Haughty Djinn. We're gonna get the benefit on everything that costs more than 1. That's a spell. So we're talking that's instant or sorcery. So we're talking about 14 cards here, all gonna get this be made cheaper by Haughty Djinn. Not to mention that the power of Haughty Djinn should be really high. We are then running Rusko Clockmaker. This is the 4-costing legendary creature Human Artificer, which creates a midnight clock when it enters the battlefield, and whenever we cast a non-creature spell, put an hour counter on each midnight clock, and each opponent loses 1 life and we gain 1 life. So this is a bit of a win con in conjunction with these two creatures, because we have loads of cheap spells. Each cheap spell we cast puts a counter on the clock. Once the clock gets completed up to 12 counters, we get a whole new hand back of 12 cards again. So the reason this is nice is that we can play cheap spell, cheap spell, cheap spell, draining our opponent out for that life. We then get a whole new hand back, a whole load of new more cheap spells, and the cycle continues. So our opponent has to remove either Rusko or his clock. Let's just go through the instants and sorceries that I've chosen in this deck. So we are running 4 Consider. Consider is obviously very nice in sort of decks that benefit from a cantrip. A cantrip is a card that draws at least 1 card. Well, actually draws exactly 1 card, otherwise it replaces itself in your hand. So this is just Surveil 1, draw a card at instant speed. The reason Surveil is nice is obviously this is look at the top card of your library, you may put it into your graveyard. So we can fill our graveyard up for Haughty Djinn. And obviously it gives us card filtering, so we can get cards that we don't want out of the way, make sure we find the cards that we do want. Fading Hope ×2. This is really there to complement the cut downs with regards to sort of dealing with the aggressive mono red decks and such like, because cut down is nice in that it gets rid of a lot of the creatures, but Fading Hope can be nice also with regards to things like if someone's being aggressive with a Raiju or a Sheldred or something, like just being able to get rid of it for a turn can buy us enough time to set up our, what we're doing with our creatures. Also the Scry is very nice. Also the thing that's nice about Fading Hope is that when Rusko comes in, you can spend 4 mana and then he creates a midnight clock. The midnight clock can add 1 blue. So spells that cost 1 blue are actually particularly effective in this deck, because we can tap out on turn 4, but also we then get a blue, so that allows us to cast one of these instants. I did consider Piece It Together, I believe it's called. Piece It Together as my 1 blue, but what I was finding is that sorceries were just not really working in the flavour of the deck. You'll notice that I've only got these 4 sorceries in the deck, everything else is an instant, so yeah, the instants being able to like cast them in our opponent's turn so that we can hold up for Make Disappear and go for the throw and cut down is just a bit of a nicer feel for the deck in general. So anyway, I've tried to go for blue cost cards. Obviously we do need some black cards to go with our Rusko and to keep the floor clear, let's say. 4 Make Disappear needs no real introduction. We need a counter for the deck. This one's pretty good. Also, we can sacrifice our Ledger Shredders if we want to make the Make Disappear stronger. You know, if our opponent's trying to resolve something very powerful like their own Discover the Formula or Invoke Despair or something, having the option to sack your creature and make this a better counter is good. 4 go for the Throats to deal with all the big nasty threats, very necessary against things like green decks. We are then running 2 copies of Choice of Fortunes and 2 copies of Silver Scrutiny. So Choice of Fortunes is a 3-costing sorcery. Seek 2 cards. You may shuffle them into your library. If you do, seek 2 cards. You have no maximum hand size for the game, so it's basically draw 2, but you get to look at 2, decide if you want them, then look at 2 more. The no maximum hand size is actually useful for if the Midnight Clock draws us a hand of 7. If any of those cards draw us cards, say for example, you know, what Discover the Formula, Choice of Fortunes, Silver Scrutiny, it means that we can actually hold on to those additional cards without having to discard. Also, if we happen to have loads of instants in our hand, we might want to keep passing the turn back to our opponent and have more options open. So it does actually have an impact in the game sometimes. Silver Scrutiny is a 2-off because it's there just to reload us when we run out. This sort of goes in this category because Silver Scrutiny draws X cards where we can pay X. We cast it in our opponent's turn if X is 3 or less, so if the total cost is 5. If we're trying to draw 4, 5, 6, 7, we have to cast it in our own turn as a sorcery, but that is okay. Because a lot of the time, if we're getting this off to draw 5, 6, 7 cards, we're going to win anyway. The reason I put it in the same category as Discover the Formula is this seeks 3 cards and it costs 6, but it makes everything cheaper. So it's also a sort of big reload spell. These both kind of have a similar function in the deck. Choice of Fortunes is the cheaper reload spell, but all 6 of these cards are basically our top us up with some more cards please deck. So we're kind of divided into dealing with threats and filtering our cards and then topping us up. I guess this one sort of sits in the middle. These are all sort of dealing with threats, these are all topping us up, and these are our creatures. And this is just there as a sort of facilitator. We're running a fairly standard land set with all 12 of the dual lands and 4 Forsaken Crossroads, so it doesn't leave us much space for basics. 1 Otawara, 1 Takenuma, only 24 lands due to the cheap average cost. Basically, the reason I think this deck is good for getting into Mythic is that I think Rusko is very broken. I think this card is insanely good. The fact that you pay 4 and you get a 3-costing card plus a 3/3, and that 3/3 has extra abilities, like every time you cast a spell, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. I mean, that's just madness. It just seems so strong to me. That, yeah, I think this card's broken. I think all of these cards go well in this particular deck. I tried running it without Shredder using the Oracle of the Alpha instead, but the Shredder I just think fits in better. It comes down a little bit earlier and it just gives that slightly hard to remove threat, which can help us interfere with the sort of mono red decks and the like. So yeah, this is the best setup I found for the deck so far. We're going to have some games in Mythic and see if we can climb into the top 1200 today. Enjoy. Okay, here we go. See if we can kill off some of these ninja decks that are floating around. Probably consider next, like once we... yeah, once I put the Shredder down. Assuming it doesn't get murdered. Killed in some horrific way. No, okay, you're okay. You can keep that. We will... Actually, we'll hold back. So we can block. Because it would be their second spell, so yeah. Rusko Clockmaker into consider. A pretty nice double spell. Yeah, we're not interested in more land at this stage. We're not interested in more land at this stage. And then we'll just wait still. Right, I guess we let that through. We can kill it. Pass, we'll double spell in their turn. So they've only got to play with fire. So we'll let that through. Move that. Yeah, we don't need more land. That can connect, that's fine. Then we'll get rid of this. We've cast our second spell. Gosh, we've got some land in the graveyard. Okay. I'll take that as a first game. Let's see if we can find a harder opponent. Alright. Numbered player this time, so could be more of a challenge. Yeah. Just playing passive for now. And we'll put that in the graveyard just to get the numbers up. It's really, the Fading Hopes are really for mono red, so that's a nice thing to counter. It's nice that we've got some removal, so let's keep up to 4. Unfortunately, they're going to get a turn of Crucius, but such is life. We get a turn of Djinn. Would be nice if we can discover the formula, but okay, we'll have to do ours now as we only have 1 mana open. We're keeping them at bay though. And that's a bit painful. 3 cards for them. We can scry since we can't do much. If they've got an Invoke Despair Train, we're in trouble. Not yet. Because this card could swing the game for us. Fine. Can't stop him emptying our graveyard with Viconia, unfortunately. Try going for Viconia's Throat. Yeah. You take it all, Viconia. Discover the formula. Put this on black, untap, get in for 3. We've got a Rusko, a Silver Scrutiny is nice, and another Djinn. We've got a pretty perfect hand. Okay, we'll get rid of this now. They could have another one in their hand. If they do, we'll get rid of that later. Don't want to give them the end step trigger. That's nice. So this casts 1 less, 2 less. So we can actually cast this for 4. Which I think we should try. I feel like they would have countered us killing Crucius if they had it now. And now we're looking pretty good. We've got a whole hand again with another Discover the Formula. We've got maximum hand, no maximum hand size anyway, but okay, Viconia's coming back, probably. Maybe Crucius. At least we've got the medicine for Viconia with this. Okay, didn't get the removal that I would have liked. Guess we need the lands. I don't mind the block, as we've got another one in our hand. And okay, they have a cut down. We don't mind too much if they empty our graveyard with the Viconia. It's not great, but we can refill it pretty quickly. We're still looking quite good, just because of the hand situation. Ooh, they're searching for a invoke. Go for a Djinn. Go for a Djinn. Then we'll pass. They'll start emptying our graveyard again. Put a stop here just in case they stop emptying our graveyard. In fact, we can use multiple of these cut downs. As they reply to the cut downs, we'll just cut down again. In fact, does that even save us any cards? Because these will go on this on the stack anyway, right? The cards go whether we cut down again or not. Yeah. The only advantage would be that we get our Rusko triggers off the cut downs, which we've got nothing else to target at the moment. Put this up to 10. Maybe we should do that. I mean, these our graveyard's going to empty in a minute anyway because of the clock. Yeah, maybe you should have killed the Clockmaker because we've got another one, but doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. Find another destroyer. What good card selection Crucius gives you, honestly. Yeah, DIMIR better than Grixis, or just luckier than Grixis? I don't know. I didn't play that perfectly either, and we didn't ever feel too behind, so I quite like that. All right, we finally made it to Mythic, and now we're paired against another Diamond player. But oh well, this is a nice hand. I think the Shredder's just giving us that early support against like mono red is very good. Yep, we'll take the Djinn. Big sad. Rot Priest. Yeah, fine. Fine. We're not the easiest deck to just swing through. Tapped blue land. Don't see any way of getting them through the Shredder then, which is good. Nope. Okay. Let's play this on blue. Tapped, obviously. That could be helpful. Let's try and cut down this. Get rid of the spare land, shall we? Yeah. This we need for card advantage. We don't need another one of those. And Shredder, meh. Piece it together. It's not targeted. Unusual to see a non-targeted sorcery in Rot Priest deck. Okay, that's cool. Well, we do need one of those, so we'll throw the other Shredder away. Nice when you get opponents' triggers on these. Let's go with this, so we can play this and hold open, make this appear. That way we've got a reasonable amount of damage on board, and we're holding open a counter, which is pretty good. Oh, there's black in this deck. Soul Tie. What are you thinking, Big Sad? What are you thinking? Thinking of drowning my Ledger Shredder. Okay. Can't really stop that in any nice, efficient way. And it does mean our Djinn is now safe, so we've got to take that one, I think. We'll get rid of that. I have no real desire to have that hanging around. Yeah, we'll shuffle those in. Rusko is what we need. That's good. Got quite a lot of land, but so I could get rid of the Djinn now. Just in that. Let's play Rusko in case we need to use the Go for the Throat for any reason. Can't think of one. They could give this Death Touch. It's about the only one I can think of. They actually are. Well, that extra tick off Rusko worth having then. Gosh, sometimes these next level plays I amaze myself. The nice thing is, like, tons of spare land we can just dump into, like, putting counters on the clock. Yeah. We are on 3 toxic, but our opponent's on the verge of death, so... Thirsting Roots. GG. Alright. Can we see a rank, please? Still 98. Okay. Okay. Fusha. See if this early game like hand is gonna come in useful. Is this mono red? No. Then we'll play this first. Gate to Sea Tower. We'll play our Shredder against blue. Worst that can happen is it gets countered or bounced. No instants or sorceries in hand and none in graveyard. Oh, it's not just blue. So we need to consider guess we could Fading Hope, but I don't really want to bounce this. And yeah. Yeah, we can bait out the Silex. We need a land, damn it. I know Consider could help us find one, but... Wow. Gone through 13 cards. 14 cards. I only found 2 lands. Guess we'll just do choice. Gives us a chance to land. Yeah, we didn't really want to tap bomb. But we did want one at all. Jesus. Blast Zone and Silex. Tasha's pretty brutal. Yeah. Pretty nasty. Kind of want to make them Silex away their clock, which we can do by playing this maybe.
Look at you. That actually hurt.
The clock is far worse than the Clockmaker.
Beware. I know some sickening magic.
Don't really have a plan to deal with Tasha though. Okay, they've just passed it back. That's interesting. Make Disappear could come in handy. This is my plan to deal with Tasha, so let's hope it works. Seems to be.
know,
Don't really want to play that or this before, but we don't need to discard, so we don't seem to be full of land, it's fair to say. Flipping 19 cards in, is it? We might have to go for the throat this Rusko. Okay, that's quite nice. Probably don't want to allow Gix's command to resolve. So, I think we want to do this. Obviously they've got the Silex, but the reason I'm attacking is I think, well, there's a chance that they'll Silex now, just because we've got a bigger hand, but they might not. Silex for 3, take out the clocks. That's just in case they don't Silex. So if they Silex for 4 and take out Ruskos as well, board's wiped, we've got more cards in hand. That's good. I think that's good. They never got their clock off. Do we just go for Shredder? Maybe. It's an easy kill, but what does Siphoner bring them back? Gix's command. Which will succeed for them. Got no counters. They don't know that though. DIMIR versus DIMIR can lead to slightly long games. Okay. Bring back the Fading Hope. Bring back the Impulse. I feel like we just discover. Give them a turn to mess about. Do it now, there's no chance of counter. We don't know they're running counters anyway, but we've got no maximum hand size. And now we've got a fairly brutal hand. We have still got no counters. Is there some kind of lock they can put on us here with this command? Why would they be running Gix's command? I guess just to deal with mono red. I don't think they're running cut down, so it could just be their answer, yeah. Yeah, the clock. Well, at least we did get a land. Let's go Shredder first. And play a Djinn. Okay, we'll throw that away. I think it's worth getting rid of Rusko immediately. Avoid them having too much fun with, yeah, getting counters. Definitely don't want tap lands. That is sort of what I've been looking for ages. Ugh, that's going to cost us 2 of us 7 life. To just be murdered, immediately murdered by that. So I think we won't do that. Just cast the Rusko again, I suppose. No. We'll try playing a Djinn. And another one. At least then we can just discover the formula if something bad happens. God, that's annoying. Okay. Well, I think we need to hold go for the throat, so we just have to let that put that back in our hand. Yeah, that can kill off the Djinn again. Quite a relentless combo. And that's it. I'm going to take 2. If we cast anything else, we're taking more damage, which I don't want to do. I'd like our opponent to draw some lands so they can't screw me too much more with this. Yeah. Goes up to 10. They could pay 6. Or pay 3 in their turn, then wait till our turn if they've got lots of instants. Maybe they'll just pay the 6. Does look like it. So they've only got 5 mana now, and we've got to make disappear. Okay, killing it in response to their own thing. Okay, I think we need a removal for this because... Okay, we have one. We're getting very low. So let's do 1, 2, cast this for 4. Yeah. Then we've got consider and make disappear. Opponent's got Impulse. Gosh, this is close. If they are they running Invoke Despairs? I can't remember. Can't even see because it's been shuffled in if they are. So we can cast 2 spells at least, get ourselves to 5 life. These are both non-pain lands. Opponent's got Blast Zone, that's not helpful to them right now. That's okay. We'll just get rid of a land that we don't need. Only 20 cards left in our deck. So I think we have to counter this, so we'll have to do it with Casualty on Ledger Shredder. Because the Shredder's going to die anyway. And we'll see what we can find. Definitely don't need that. Gosh, we've got some land. Okay, so we can attack. Play a Shredder. End turn. So we can always Otawara their Midnight Clock. Really, we want to trigger our own Midnight Clock because that will probably give us the win, but they may have some removal for it. I wonder if they must be running the Kitten, but I haven't seen any for this thing to be good. Oh, not necessarily, I suppose. Get the Scry. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 5, 7 they have. So they can only put 2 counters on this, so putting it in their hand now is actually quite a nice play. It's probably the last time we can actually stop them from triggering it in response. And ours is getting close. What we'll do is put like this, and then in their turn we'll get a new hand. Attack for 3. Too late to use your Blast Zone to get rid of the clock, thankfully. Come on, opponent. Here we go. We do lose our Make Disappear, but we get a whole hand. And we're no longer at risk of decking, which is nice. Yes. Yes. Come on. Into the numbers as well. Okay. Next one. Gangrel TV. Yep. This could be blue. And we'll scry. Consider. Yeah. Why not? Just don't play a black land, please. Good. Phoenix Chip. See if they want to use removal on this. Probably. Probably going to get lightning struck or something. Monastery, Swift Spear. Ooh, let's get rid of this. It's too slow for this matchup. Guess we'll kill off the chick. Just after saying I would get rid of it, I'm going to keep it. Because we don't want that. No attack. Let's make them remove this or do something bad to it. And then we might keep our Rusko. Squee the dubious monarch. Okay, Rusko time. No attacks. Why bother? We just sit back. That is my advice against red with this deck. Sit back. Let them murder themselves. Never playing a mono red deck is it fun to try and win after like turn 10. So if we get to that kind of point of the game, we'll be good. Okay, choice of fortunes. Yeah. So we probably want the make disappear open, although they didn't spend 3. Yeah, we'll hold. See, the fact that they have this is surprising me they didn't attack with Squee, because they could have attacked and then just shocked, because I would have blocked. Swift Spear. And now what? That's what we'll get rid of. Yeah, we'll throw away Rusko, I suppose. We've already got one. They don't seem to be able to kill it. Okay, that looks pretty darn good to me. This is up to 7. Could have even played the Shredder. Whoops. At least the Djinn will be nowhere near as good on their side of the field. Well, it's still pretty good. We can get rid of that. And that. We have got this thing doing us damage now, which is slightly annoying. We'll do this. Fill up our graveyard. 11. Yeah, we've got lethal. Sweet. Okay. Another mono red player bites the dust. Can't see my rank again. Thank you. Alright. Yumu. We're up to 99%. Really getting there. This looks like a good hand again. The thing about a deck like this where the curve is so low is every hand looks okay. Being quite... needs to probably be a bit more critical about what we keep and what we don't. Yeah, we definitely keep the option of cut down. That is a lovely cut down target. Oops, I just realised I've given them the option. Oh no, I didn't. Effect silent cut down. Thought I did. Go like this in case they try to flip their curtains. Yeah, and we'll just kill that. And I think we will go for the Shredder first. A bit safer than trying to jam a Djinn. And there's an extra removal spell for us. Because they can kill this, we don't mind too much. They could try Sheldred, yeah. At least we have a go for the throat. Yeah, we get rid of a land that we don't need. At least if they do invoke Despair, we have the Shredder to sack. Obliterator. Scrutiny could be good. Well, we're not going to be able to block, so we might as well get swinging. We can always reload ourselves next time. So we can Scrutiny for a good number, 5 with the Djinn alive. Should I block the Sleeper so they can be... yeah, they can't... I think it's a good block. We don't need the Rusko. And it forces them to double level that Sleeper. March toward perfection, eh? Okay, so I think we should do this for 3. No, 4. So that if we draw a Destroy, we can still use it on the Obliterator. Okay, Fading Hope will do. If we use this one this turn, we'll get the proc off of the Shredder. Yeah, let's grow them a little bit, I think. Then we can present lethal next turn. Yeah, Archfiend will be going back in your hand, I'm afraid. GG, mono black. We're just like black, but with better, with countering, so better version. Nearly top 1200. See if we can make it in this video. See if we can carry on the wins. Number 1742. Someone actually lower ranked than us that's in the numbers. Okay. We'll probably consider this turn. I think we need to find some other things. Ooh. It's a bit expensive though, isn't it? That's much better. This is like, the reason I think Shredder is really, it's growing on me in this deck is that it's like a little bait, because people don't want to leave Shredder around, but Also, if they use their removal up on that, then the Djinns and the Ruskos can normally survive a bit longer, which is just so nice. So next turn we can do the Crossroads probably, because we don't need to. Yeah, fine, you can have a card from the Wake. I'm not going to take damage for no reason against what I would guess is an Anvil deck. So let's put this blue. We could play the other Shredder. Yeah, because once we use the clock, we'll have that open then. That way, if they ever double spell, we're going to have a great time. Okay, no double spell this time. But I think this is actually one where I feel like it's worth us double spelling. It's worth fading, hoping a Blood Artist. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. And we'll get rid of this one, because this is better version. Nope. Bing bing. And we've got our clock ticking away. They could well be playing a Braid in this deck, but we're keeping them at bay a little bit. And obviously they're going to get more and more tempted to double spell the more lands they get. So many threats they need to deal with. They gotta think. Anvil, understandable. Suspect we're seeing a double spell here. If not, then I would guess they've got to go for the throat. Yeah, a bit of damage. Even if they use a destroy on a Shredder, we're still drawing. No, they're not going to. Okay. I don't really have an interest in more Shredders, to be honest. So I think we'll just attack, and we'll use this to connive away later. Yep. Yeah, you got loads of cards. Loads and loads of cards. I think we will just hold. We can put an extra counter on our clock with the extra 3 mana. Or if our opponent gives us double connive, then even more win for us. Yeah, it's a nice little target for the go for the throat. Trying to find a flying blocker for us, because they'll probably use Anvil now. Yeah. Okay, they didn't actually use the Anvil to buff the Aerialist. Maybe they're keeping that in reserve. Alright, let's kill that. Bing. Bing. Put this on 6, it'll get to 7 at the start of our turn, which probably puts us at like 2 turn cycles away from triggering. We don't want it to trigger next turn because I'm hoping to play this. So it puts it about right for us. Maybe I should play Shredder and Djinn. Really give them something to deal with, won't it? triple connive. It's going to stack the graveyard or something. Djinn. And Fading Hope. Obviously they've got the anvil to sack the little dude, but we'll make them do it. Then we're hit for 5, they gain 1, so they'll go to 6, and we'll go to 17. And now they've got a real threat. I guess they could have a board like a Path of Peril, because they've got the treasures for it. I mean, Path of Peril not kicked would get rid of all the shredders. Meathook Massacre. That's pretty good. Still got 1 shredder. Yeah. Got a discard. Okay. Struggling to top deck a land, aren't we? Doesn't matter. Counterspell is quite nice, but they've only got 5 mana open, and it will mean the clock triggers and we get a whole new hand anyway. Which all we really need to finish them off is a Rusko, plus a couple of spells. Yeah, we can allow that. And we'll deny whatever their second spell is if they play one. Ooh. I guess we'll still do this. Don't really want them to have another anvil, do we? So should we ditch the Discover? I think so. So this will trigger. We'll draw a new hand. We did not find a Rusko in there. Can't cut down that because this can gain them a life, so we can just do this though. What we'll then need to do is play one more spell, make sure we discard a non-land, and then the Shredder will have 4. And then we're good. So we play this, discard this, hit for 4. Rakdos Anvil, not a problem. Easy peasy. Show me my rank. Why, top 1200. Okay, statistics for the deck. The statistics may come with a slight surprise in them, in that they are 7-1 with an 88% win rate. Why is it 7-1? Well, before I recorded the video, I played one game with the deck and lost, which sometimes for me is enough to make me just want to delete the deck, but I actually knew this deck was going to be good, so I thought I'll just start recording. If I lose a load, never mind, we'll just post the video of me losing loads. But I did actually turn this around. So this was some weird janky Atraxa deck, I think, which managed to hit off against us. But I carried on playing, recorded all 7 on the video, and we won all 7. So only 8 game sample size here, but obviously a strong deck. I mean, the thing that's nice about this is it just copes well with the various things that are out there in the meta. It's quick enough to beat certain sort of slow strategies like blue-white control, but it's fast enough and has enough answers for mono red, for mono green, for mono black. As we saw in the video, look, we did well against red and Rakdos. I mean, these are two of the sort of fastest and most played decks in the format, and we're beating both, and that is enough of an accolade for me for this deck. I think I'll play it with it a bit more, try and get a bit of a bigger sample size, and just see if I can get higher up into Mythic before I start trying to brew decks again, and we plummet all the way back down, as is usual for me as a content creator. Anyway, thank you very, very much for watching the video. I hope that this deck works for you. If you do give it a go, for me, this is like a reliable one for climbing, and I hope it can join your sort of reliable deck collection too. So anyway, as I said, thank you very, very much for watching. I'll be back with more content soon. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.